again. Hello and welcome to the Journey to Serie A, a new podcast following us through the highs and lows of our new favourite teams. Again, I'm Glenn and I'm here with Cam.
Ciao.
Dane.
Hello.
And Hunter.
Hello.
Whoa, you okay?
Whoa.
You're okay. Let's talk.
Do you need to talk?
Let's talk.
I don't want to talk about
You need a
it.
cuddle.
Yes, please.
It's a safe space with us and the rest of the internet.
That Hunter's no longer me business now. We're on the third episode, aren't we?
Do we need a full name now? I'm calling you Chris instead.
Christopher.
Whoa, full name. Full name.
When does it cease to become a new podcast in the introduction? Is it after 10 episodes?
Nah, probably the next one.
Yeah.
Until I remember. So on this week's episode, we've got a quick rundown of what's happened with our teams this week. It will be very quick. We're also going to have a little chat about the best Italians to play in the Premier League and vice versa, English players that have gone on to play in Serie A. And then we'll finish off with the Serie A Player of the Week. And currently, despite Cam protesting midweek, it is 1-0 to Dane. He did get Cannavaro last week, so I've got another one planned. Hopefully a little bit more to throw as he keeps going. But first and foremost, who's going first, boys? What you got for us?
I can go first. Like Bologna's week, very well. They had
I know
two.
the week, but well,
Just wait till the season starts. Beat Monaco. Got beat off Monaco 3-2. Monaco scored in the last minute or 2-0 up. So, can you stop banging your cup?
Sorry.
It's alright, mate. Trying to talk. So we got beat off Monaco 3-2. They scored in the last minute or 2-0 up. And I thought one lucky, and then we beat some Dutch side 2-1. And my main man Xerxes scored.
I've seen that.
So he's ready. He's going for the season.
It's going good, huh?
Nah. The defender hit the back of the keeper, like short.
Yeah.
He's nipped in. Keepers came out, cut back, open goal.
Cut back.
Still a goal, though, isn't it?
Cut back's class.
And,
So 2-0 got beat 3-2. So what you're saying is he's a bit of like bottle jobs.
no, we played with youngsters. Oh, another good bit of news is the main man scored as well, not Xerxes.
Another name, man.
Proper main man.
Oh.
Lewis, will you please answer his DM?
Lewis has scored again, mate.
It's been 3 episodes now. It's getting embarrassing.
Yeah, so Fergie scored. Good
Oh,
goal as well.
got nicknamed like Fergie. Harry.
But that's it, no transfer news or nothing. Apart from hoping the captain stays because he's been linked with, is it Juve? Who was it they got linked with?
Fiorentina.
Oh, Fiorentina, sorry, yeah,
Fiorentina.
Aye, so yeah, hopefully he stays.
Ideal. Just Dane.
We've had 2 pre-season friendlies this time.
Way.
Nobody's got their shits this time, so it's been pretty good. So first one was against AC. 2-2 draw, but we're on penalties because playing in America means you have to have a winner. So ultimately went to pens and won 4-3 on pens.
I still wish I did the shootouts.
Yeah.
You know, like the
How good were they?
Oh, the one-on-ones.
Halfway line
Unreal,
shootouts.
them. Just bring them in there, class.
The second one was against Real Madrid, and I could say I was less than confident, but we're both pretty much full strength. If you class Yossolo front for Real as full strength.
I think it's class. It's good.
But yeah, he did. It was a good raid goal. But Vinicius Jr. played and won 3-1, and actually had quite a few shots in both games. Didn't really have much possession, but it looks very much like a typical performance, Allegri performance for us. So yeah, I'm a little bit more enthused this week.
I was about to say.
And then to bring us back down to earth, Dusan Vlahovic gets linked to Chelsea for a swap deal for Lukaku, which is absolutely terrible. So you're losing your 23-year-old potential linchpin, number 9, for Lukaku, who's 30.
And 23 stone.
And his first touch is 23 yards away from him. So.
Pogba's been given captaincy as well.
Pogba's been given captaincy. Can you imagine? That would be the best week ever.
Lukaku's just had a good season though with Inter, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't be too disappointed.
No, I
He's
mean,
better than the Serie A than he is.
he is, but he's 30 now, and I suppose
It's a good age.
It's Allegri's really likes him. He thinks he'll be good for our system. I don't particularly.
Whether or not you'd be bothered.
Yeah, well, that's
Do you know what I mean?
That's,
It's where his first touch. He can be bothered to Stay on the pitch.
So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, nothing much else. Obviously, I said the last time was Frank Kessié from Barca. I thought that was close by the multiple people that reported, but he's getting like all out everywhere now. So we'll wait and see. But nothing much more from me.
Aren't you wanting like Lukaku plus about 40 million or something though? So you're getting a little bit of money with him.
Aye, so I think Dusan was getting touted around for about 60, 70 million. And like I say, he's only 23 and he's a good player. He was going everywhere before.
He won real free kicks last season, by the way.
So yeah, it's like anything. They might say 40 million might come down with something like 30 in the player. But we'll see.
Two good results though, against two good like oppositions, you know what I mean? So
that's it. And the defence looked pretty good. I mean, I know we've conceded 3 goals in 2 games, but it actually looked alright against, considering AC Milan were really strong. Titus Bramwell on the left wing was fantastic. And Leao, he had a good game. So clumsy player, but yeah, it was tough conditions over in Los Angeles. The first game as well was really hot, so I thought it was pretty.
Oh, we're there.
I knew that was coming.
The weather forecast.
but yeah, you talk about your defence, it'll be because Bonucci's eventually got some balls and got rid of them. He just wasn't good enough.
Nah, but he was just
good career, but
it was, that was it, wasn't it? But
Titus Bramwell might come out of the retirement.
well, I don't even know where the hell he is now.
Probably with Nile Ranger somewhere, like
still on the key side.
Yeah.
Still on the key side, I think.
I think just ordering Just Eat.
Probably falling over it as well. He picked it up. So I'll go next. So as we speak, Lazio are playing Aston Villa in a friendly. It's not going well, if we're being honest. So the writing was on the wall in the first 15 minutes when Watkins missed a penalty. Providel saved it with his legs, and then a minute later Tielemans hit the bar. But the last time I checked, which was about 5 minutes ago, it was 2-0 to Villa. So Watkins scored in the 36th minute, and then John McGinn in the 56th. So
he's quality, you know.
McGinn massive underrated. But to be fair, so Villa, I think Villa will surprise a few people this season. So
where's it at? Is it at Villa?
Yeah.
No, it's at Walsall Stadium. Is it the Westcott Stadium or something?
Oh, was it?
It's there.
I thought it was at Villa.
I don't know why you have a friendly down the road from the home team's stadium. Like,
don't mess the pitch up, like.
Maybe. And then Fabrizio's been shit hot. Lazio news this. It's Dane's best mate, Fabrizio, but he's actually got a couple of rights. So Daichi Kamada from Frankfurt is imminent, and there was a picture just before we started of him at Rome Airport with a Lazio scarf on, so that's pretty much fucking done, really.
What does he look like on YouTube?
Japanese. That's what he looks like.
I've seen that one.
I've seen the photo.
You know what he looks like?
Yeah.
But to be fair, so in the Bundesliga for Frankfurt, 127 games, 20 goals, 29 assists. So attacking midfielder, like decent, obviously to fill in where Milinkovic-Savic has left a big hole. Then we've got another kid called Gustav Isaksson from. I don't know how you say it. It sounds like Midtjylland.
From
Norway. It's easier to say than.
I'm sure they beat United.
I'm pretty sure they did, but he's a right winger. So played like 21 games last season, scored 9, got 1 assist. So fairly decent. Pleased with them too. But that's,
this is a signing, people.
Yes. And it looks like they're signing a start as well, like, and goal getters, which is decent. So happy with that.
Just seen there, it's Notts Forest have just submitted a bid there for €25 million for Roger Ibanez from Roma.
He was linked with Newcastle last year, wasn't he?
I'm surprised they're doing that. They've just been like fined out an absolute fortune because of missed payments of the owners.
What's that?
Forest.
Suppose that
I'm not surprised.
Ibanez has got loads of potential, but supposedly last year he was just awful.
Yeah.
When you sign up 36 players, you're bound to miss a few payments here and there. Nightmare. Cam?
It's 36 corners.
100% of the first one were like, can we pay in 30 days or can we pay in 3?
Need to go on and PayPal one next, so that's how they keep using them all.
Atlanta's big news. Obviously, Hoyland's gone to United. Well, it was just done his medical. I mean,
Pretty much done it.
should be announced. I think it'll be Saturday.
How do you generally feel about that? Because obviously, I know this is new to you, but happy for Man United, or are you happy for both?
Both, just because obviously Hoyland, watching the last few games of the season, he will be class for United. Just the way he plays the football.
A lot of pressure for a 20-year-old, though.
A lot of pressure, but he seems like he's got the mentality to do it. He's not. It doesn't seem like he's going to be like Sancho and drop the ball.
No, I mean, I know you just briefly round up here, but Man United fans aren't the most patient, or if they don't.
I think they are.
Just hit the ground running.
Ground running, if it doesn't look like he's got it.
Well, considering the supported fucking Vegas last
I was
season.
just going to say, this stuff.
Look at Diego Forlan. Look at Diego Forlan.
They didn't go
He's
for
a
that
cool
price
too.
tag, though, did they?
He did, right?
Not
Yeah, but the price is inflated these days.
Prices are hard. I mean, we'll go on to a couple of bits, but like when you've got the likes of Livermento going for 30 odd million, like prices are through the roof.
Yeah, ridiculous amount.
But as a Man United fan, we've supported some shit. Like Veghorst, namely last season, everybody was willing him to score. Yes, because we wanted to score in general, but just for him, because he ran his arse off. But ultimately couldn't hit a fucking barn door.
Martial for the last 5 years, or 6 years, or however long he's
I feel like getting sick of him just because, but he doesn't do what Hoyland will, and what Vegas did, and what Forlan did. It's like they have the work rate as well. When Martial hasn't got the ball, he's no use to your team.
What you said there about Hoyland, from what we watched of him, I know he only had like one good season, people are saying, but what we watched, he works hard,
Yeah.
got him in first touch, he can score goals.
He's
So
like,
he just
He's
open,
he's
and he's
open play.
young.
If you think him
You're taking a
getting the ball-
gamble with the money you're paying, but
It's the same with
I
everybody.
think it'll be a good gamble.
I think the way United play, you could see last year, and even you can see in pre-season, there's just that massive glaring hole for a number 9, someone just to bring others into it. But also, he doesn't look slow. He's not going to be like, he'll have a little bit more about him, whereas Veghorst was a target man. He was good with his feet, to be fair. He brought others into play, but aerially, he's 6'6", and then when he jumps, he's 5'9". Like, never seen him win a header. It's fucking atrocious.
That's the first thing we said about him when we watched him, how quick's this kid up front.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe it for the size of him as well.
I mean,
That's good.
I know we're talking about like inflated prices. Sorry, Cal, I know you want to get on your team. But when you're talking inflated prices, like I remember when Isaac for us, like wasn't really just come back from injury, in and out, 62 million. It was like Paul Merson, I think he's a flop. It's how quick like media can like.
Yeah, but
Especially
that's the
English
media,
media.
innit?
Yeah, English media.
That's the media though. That's not your fan base.
Well, talking about the media, the biggest one on Highland is everyone's linking him and comparing him to Holland just because he looks like him a little bit.
Like
Like,
before
before
he kind of sounds similar. Like it's just ridiculous. Like, what is he 20?
Hasn't kicked the ball yet. And
He's an
comparing him to
investment. Ultimately, he's an investment.
It's all time to sign the striker that was you.
It doesn't make it challengers signing it, but I think if you went and got Harry Kane, I think it would have been challengers. Because I think that you've got someone that is in his palm there. But that's going to usually never been that sort of team. You usually used to get like someone like Kane and him to bring them on, but them days are sort of gone.
I think if the takeover had gone through, then and the Qatari bid got accepted, then I think
you would have
that would have been a potential for both. And I think there was lots of stories at the start that Ten Hag wanted both, but I think now the way Ten Hag sees it is they're moving away from that big money, like buy them in their prime, because we never really used to.
Nah.
We'd buy them young, and we kind of the odd exception, like Van Persie and stuff, but
Maybe
he wanted to leave on his own.
first one.
Yeah, we never really splashed like huge amounts of money, and then since Fergie's left and Martin Edwards, and we got Ed Woodward in, then it was like we're going to throw money at everyone. And we ended up like 90 million for Pogba. I mean, what the fuck was that about? Big money for Lukaku,
Di Maria.
Di Maria, for
Fellaini.
Fellaini, like
That was just all Moyes.
yeah. But
All
even then,
Moyes.
they pissed back about that much. They paid 4 million more because they missed his release clause. You know, they just like, whereas now it seems like they've got clear direction from the manager and they're listening to the manager and getting the players that he wants.
Yeah, it's more
And the
measured.
biggest thing as well, before we get back to Cam's update, is all along Haaland has said, I want to go there. So even when PSG came sniffing, he was like, no, like.
I think he sees the opportunity that he hasn't got a forward. He's young and he's going to start for one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Anyway, enough about yous. Atlanta.
Sorry.
So he's gone.
You could have.
Haaland's away, yeah. Right.
But they did get they paid 70 million for him. They've got 5 times the amount in back, which is one of the best things about Atlanta. Like if you go back through the previous transfers, they always get well above what they should get.
Ahmed Diallo,
Christian Romero. Who else is sold? Barcelona, didn't realize he was there as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've had 2 friendlies that played Bournemouth. Smashed them 3-1. And then they had another friendly against a random team that beat them 3-0. It was just like a Mickey Mouse team really. But Mitchell Backer's looking good. Koopmeiners bossed it. And then there's a kid, he came back from loan, I think was I telling you? Thing. Let a laugh or something like that. He was at St. Gallen or something last season. But he's looked class in pre-season. And then El Bilal Touré came in, wearing the number 10. He had his first game, he looked strong. Like, he's quite raw, like first touch is
His stats look great from last season.
But power pace.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
He could be another one, couldn't he? What you bought him for and then what you could potentially get for him.
Hopefully. And then the only other bit of news is we're currently linked with someone called Charles. Finish the sentence.
Charles de Ketelier or something like that.
Yeah, someone from Milan.
Belgian.
He looks like a nice boy, doesn't he? Doesn't look like a nice boy.
He looks
Like if he was in
Looks
Hogwarts.
lovely, doesn't he?
He's from Hogwarts, that kid, like him.
I need to move on from Hogwarts quickly before you start going on.
Private joke.
Private inside joke. Let's swiftly move on. Yeah, thanks.
So, yeah, that's it for 11 really.
After all the friendlies on, can't wait for the start of the season now. Like, obviously it's good watching these teams, friendlies, getting to know a bit about them, but I can't wait for the start of the season so you can actually physically watch all
Next
the games.
Saturday, Dave.
I didn't realise how close it was.
Next Saturday we'll play each other.
We've got AC, Bologna first game of the season, which I'm...
Community Shield this Sunday as well, isn't it? Literally didn't realise, it seems to have come out of nowhere. But a couple of bits from kind of around Europe really, but Gvardiol looks set for City. Big money for another centre-back.
Hell of a player. He'll be real.
No, the only thing I've seen of him is when
Big
he got...
Croatian centre-half.
The only thing I've seen of him on
Leipzig.
is a video when he got absolutely tortured against, who was it? I only watched the video the other day. It was for Messi in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Got absolutely tortured.
Winston.
And that's the only thing I know of him.
I mean,
Is it
Messi's
Messi?
tortured.
I know, but Messi now,
Better
pace
player,
and that, do you know what I mean?
I
Done him
think,
3 or 4
I
times.
think it'll be a hit. I mean,
Is he going to start? Look, if you look at their defenders now.
I think he
Has
probably
he?
will. I
I think
think
it's just going
I think Stones looks like the one who's there's like a CDM now, like where he was finishing at.
It's mad how many centre halves they've got.
I know.
They just don't have fullbacks.
I trust Stones more than he does Calvin Phillips.
I think him going in will spell the end of Kyle Walker, and Kyle Walker will be off the buy.
He was captain in the last round.
It's still rumoured that he's talking to buy it, and
Could be a late
doesn't
one
go
now.
away.
Because João Cancelo's going to Barca, isn't he?
Cancelo to Barca.
Class, mate.
I don't know what's happened at City with him because he was unbelievable.
I'd take him at United.
100%.
Do you know the thing with City though? Like they get all these amazing players in, and they'll be outstanding for a season, and then literally in out of nowhere, they're out of favour. Laporte, they bought him for big money. He was brilliant, and all of a sudden can't get the other team. And then Ake comes in. All of a sudden, it's like they don't seem to have like that set play. They're going to be the centre backs for the next 5 years. You'll get the centre half for the next season, and then actually now someone else fills. Like John Stones couldn't get the team anywhere near it. Now he's one of the first teams on the team sheet.
Name player, isn't
Really. But we mentioned Barcelona. Obviously, Dembele is leaving them to go to PSG and being joined by Gonzalo Ramos from Benfica. By the looks of things.
No, I've got no interest in PSG. Like, every time someone goes there, I'm just like, I'm not bothered. Like, we'll not win the Champions League. Well, that's what's them do it this year, but
honestly,
I just
can't stand Neymar. Who is
just any player going there, you're not. Let's be honest, they're not going there to test themselves, are they, in the French league?
Nah, their whole setup is now, it's just about winning the Champions League, but I think, could you argue, are they better? I think Dembele probably makes them slightly better, but Ramos,
It's a tough one because they got Ekitike last year because we were linked again. That's why I know. And he hasn't kicked the ball for them. And he was like this promising young forward, and now they're bringing in another promising young forward. And like you can either go and succeed and win the league and have a bit of a Champions League run, or you can just go and your career dies.
I think with them as well, obviously they don't know what's going to happen with Mbappe. Like, he seems, by all accounts, quite happy to sit the season out. He's gone like NBA style, hasn't he? And just been like, right, fuck it, I'll sit here and I'll do nothing.
60 million loyalty bonus.
Get me loyalty bonuses for literally shafting the entire club.
I know we talked about Mbappe a lot last week, but I'm not staying on it, but he's mad for not going to Saudi Life.
It just seems like it was set up for him. Like, get all that money, play for the season, and then go where everybody knows you're going anyway, and it doesn't cost them anything.
I think the only thing that could have changed that is if the deal was actually longer, potentially like 3 years.
Possibly stuff we don't know, because I said last week, I don't see the return on investment for the Saudi League for one season to shell out like £700 million on having one player in that league.
From that and Liverpool and Chelsea getting linked this week with it was just never in a million years.
The wages alone would be too much for any club to take on alone. Like, for it to be viable, like he's a brilliant player, but if he came in England, he'd be wanting to score 40 odd goals for the amount of money you'd pay him every week. Speaking of Saudi as well, Kessie was linked this afternoon. Apparently, like 15 million euros. Like, seems ridiculous.
So cheap.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Max is all
Who
right.
is it United still like?
And the other one, like I suppose we're mentioning, United is Amrabat still kind of. That seems to be the next one that's going to be through the door. I think
we've got to sell Donny some. Is it Real
Van der Beek's going to Sociedad, looks like on loan initially, and then I think it's Fred to Galatasaray, I think, hopefully.
Galatasaray made some moves, like.
How
have they got all this money anyway? Are they being took over?
Do you see Merton's goal for him?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Qualified for the Champions League last night.
Like Paul Scholes-esque. Crossing from the side and he's just volleyed it. Unbelievable.
Watch that.
He's got 3 foot tall, isn't he?
I've always not rated them every time, because I've only rewatched him playing for the national team.
Yeah.
And then I see him score that. I don't think it was the same person.
Worldy. Real good. Very good.
I'll have to check it out. Right, so the main topic of today then. So we'll start with the best Italians to play in the Premier League, and then we'll switch it and we'll go with the best English players to play in Serie A. So I'm sure we've all done our research. Boys, hit us with one. Who's the first one that comes to mind? We think the Italians playing in the Premier League. Now, just a disclaimer, we're going from kind of when we've started watching, so I'm sure there's been some unbelievable Italian players have played before our time, and vice versa. So we won't necessarily be going into like Mark Hateley when he played in Milan and stuff like that, because it was before our time.
Premier League era.
Premier League era. So come on, hit us with the first one.
Paolo Di Canio. Paolo Di Canio. He's a boy, man.
So, go on. Why do you like him?
Because he scored a goal like him on Thursday.
Friday. No, he had everything, didn't he? Like skill, the finishing. He's a right miserable bastard as well, and I love it. Loved it. Do you remember when he took a huff? Things like take us off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he sat down at the sideline and came back on, scored a penalty. Class.
He is literally like a grown-up version of like a 6-year-old girl. Like, spits his dummy out, goes in a huff, and then everyone's like, right, we'll just play on without you then. No, I want to play like that. But I was only kidding about the huff, but then he's really fuming all the way through.
Oh, it's a magic when that keeper, was it the keeper down or something?
Yeah, and he caught the ball in the penalty box.
Yeah.
Because the keeper was down injured, because he'd come out to like, what was it? It was at Goodison, wasn't it? And someone crossed the ball and it was literally sailing right onto his head just to nod it in empty net. And he catches it and starts like waving it off like. I bet Harry Redknapp wanted to punch his
I
head.
love how high his shorts were as well.
Aye.
His shorts are really, really high.
I wonder if he was popular in the dressing room, because when you watch him on the pitch, it looked like everyone hated him, but obviously you could tell how good he was, because he was a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, horrible, wasn't he?
Well, I was watching an interview with him, and I think it was on like Soccer AM or something like that, and they're doing like teammates, and they're like, oh, like, biggest moaner, and they're like, was that you? And he's like, maybe some people say me, some people say that. Yeah, mate, it's fucking you.
Yeah.
I will never leave this podcast if you continue to do that Italian accent.
All the way through.
And even, it's even the arms that came with it.
They hated Duolingo.
Just taught you how to do an accent.
Yeah, you got the hand movements that they hated.
He definitely only caught that ball because he pushed the referee over, because it was like after the
Oh, I
moment
forgot
of
about that.
Yeah, one of the best moments in Premier League history.
he was nuts.
How many steps did that referee take before he fell over?
He's still falling now. Ridiculous.
It was like he was on a speed ladder, wasn't it? Like he just stepped back like about 12 times and then flung his arms in the air a lot.
Chef,
What do you think stopped? Sorry to interrupt. What do you think stopped Di Canio getting a move to like one of the top clubs?
well, we were rumoured with him when he was at Charlton.
I don't know.
He was going to come as
I don't
well.
know.
I think it was,
Didn't it?
it's probably that unpredictability was
Big fish, small pond.
maybe.
Well, you'll come on to his, like what he scored in that in a minute, Cam, but he's that might be why.
Just say it yourself. 66 goals, 49 assists,
Yeah.
190.
So he wasn't as a centre forward. I know he wasn't really, but he was a centre
He was
forward.
like a 10. Really?
That's
He's
still
forward around.
That returns, like he's
it's over a goal involvement every other game.
I think it's just you've got that unpredictability. What makes him great for us now when you're looking back at him probably was a little bit worrying for like big managers. Like, can you imagine like going, he's gonna push a referee over and it could be a Champions League game and you're like,
But then he does stuff like, remember that goal against Chelsea? He flicks it up with his right, smashes it in with his left. I was like, oh.
he was a genius. He was. I think he was probably the second best genius in Premier League.
Who was the first?
It's got to be Zola. Zola was a little magician.
He's the only one that, like in the Premier League, that Fergie told the man mark, didn't
I remember that story in the Premier League years when he was talking through it.
You just enjoy watching him play, to be fair. You just really like watching
he? He came over really old as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
Was it 30 when he first signed?
Yeah, that was when they started splashing loads of money at Chelsea. It was like, obviously it was before Abramovich, but like I think there was a period where they bought in. There's a few on my list actually, like Di Matteo and Vialli. Well, we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail, and they threw loads of money at the likes of Desai and people like that, Frank Lefebvre.
Hullet?
Ruud Gullit, yeah. They were all kind of like 30, 31 or getting on a little bit, but I think with him, he never ever relied on pace. And you just look at him, everything about you should be shit.
In the Premier League, you should be shit.
Yeah. Like, you're not very quick, you're not very strong, you're tiny. But he was just
Is there anyone in today's like game that you would compare him to?
Not in today's.
I've got one, like, that's why I've said it, to be fair.
He reminds us, and it's not another. But
Not
Titus.
yeah, but get ready for another day.
Not
Well,
no, he reminds us of Peter Bielsa in terms of how he, like, being a bit smaller, how he moved,
similar stature.
very clever.
Twinkle toes.
How old is he still playing now, Peter?
No, not playing. I said he's not playing.
You're going on now, who's your comparison?
Don't say Lewis Ferguson.
David Silva from
He's not
City.
still playing either.
David Silva.
No, he's just retired, yeah.
No man, the current Silva.
Bernardo
Silva.
Yeah, I think it's more like David Silva, to be fair.
Bernardo Silva, I think, even though Bernardo Silva plays a slightly different position, but yeah, he was just both really good to watch.
Remember that goal when he flicked it in at the front post?
Oh, you took on
From
North
the
United
corner.
players.
No, from the corner, and he just flicks it through. Insane how good that was, honestly, Zola. It was unbelievable.
I have to put some clips on below.
Put a little poll of the best goals.
Aye. We'll put a little poll on as well. How many steps did the referee take before he fell over after Di Canio pushed him? You're not out cheap.
You're saying there how old he was when he came over, obviously looking at how many appearances he made.
229.
Considering when he was old as well.
37 when he retired.
Was he?
He came over though, and it was before we didn't really have squad rotation when he came over. You literally had your 11 and your like a few subs, but it was very rare that teams, unless they were kind of at the top, would rotate very much. I think that started to come in as they were kind of getting on a little bit, but what an unbelievable player.
Vialli.
Yeah, I was going to say, the late great Gianluigi Vialli, like, I remember watching him when he played at Juventus, and it was when Juventus if you got in the Champions League, you were genuinely scared because you knew they could absolutely batter you.
Yeah.
And he was the focal point, and because he looked unreal, like skinhead, like, you know, if I was a centre half, I wouldn't want to mess with him because I'm sure he was a lovely bloke, but he just looked scary as fuck. and he was good enough to back it up as well.
He was class. Like one of my favourite players for Chelsea. Like when we used to play Champ Man, remember that? You'd always go United, always go Chelsea.
I was just about to say Football Manager. When you look at these lists, like it brings back a lot of memories.
It does, doesn't it? Vialli for me was like epic. Like him up top, he had like Zizola, and he had him behind like Di Matteo and stuff like that.
You're always, like you're saying, like when you're playing, you see Vialli and that playing for them. That's how I remember Di Matteo. He used to haunt us in like big moments against Newcastle, like doing really well when we got the semi-finals, and him and Poirier. And I see you go, that's the type of player you remember, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go, because they haunt you, because they were good, really good players.
Yeah.
I really like Di Matteo was wonderful.
Made the most of his time, didn't it, to be fair? That cup final goal, wasn't it, like up until fairly recently, the fastest cup final goal where he just
Well, that's all about the new one.
stood standing on another pitch and just leathers it up on the side of the bar.
We don't know who got the first. I don't know.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
So
But
the
then,
next one.
to be fair, well done Di Matteo though, like, he obviously stuck around and then was interim Chelsea manager for the Champions League.
Champions League. 6 years he played for them. Di Matteo, I think.
I still can't believe he did that. Like,
Unbelievable, and then he's
Yeah.
just sucked.
And he got rid of him straight away,
He's
yeah.
got into obscurity. Like, I don't know if he's had a job since. I'm not a well-known one anyway.
Vialli's probably the most successful player manager probably heard of.
Italian-wise, yeah. I saw he won the FA Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, but player manager, like
Quality.
the last one.
Hullet did, yeah. Hullet won the FA Cup. I think he won it a couple of times.
The last
as a
one I
manager.
remember, Edgar Davids, he got sent off about 5 times.
That's right.
Barnet.
Ended up Barnet, yeah. Like, absolutely unbelievable.
Unreal.
makes you think why players like him go down that low. Just call it a team,
Yeah.
man.
It's just
Love of the
it's a
game.
love of the game, man. It is. It's just that someone pays money and I'll run around the pitch, but for little clubs that to get that name in makes such a huge difference. Like, was it Ravanelli played for Dundee? Played for Dundee in Scotland. You think, like, as I was having a little look at like where they played and stuff. Obviously, he went to Middlesbrough when Middlesbrough were throwing money at everyone that moved. And they had a little bit of success. They did right in the UEFA Cup and stuff.
Won something to do
Was
with
it
McLaren?
FA Cup or League?
League Cup with McLaren.
League Cup with McLaren. And did they get the UEFA Cup final?
Yeah.
Not quite the final.
Yeah.
That must
That
be
was, that's when Massimo Macaroni, speaking of Italians,
Yeah.
he turned into absolutely like Vialli prime.
Yeah, he did.
Shit in the Prem, but that run to the UEFA Cup final or whatever it was at the time, he was class.
But the list will comprise, there's some bad Italians came across.
Oh, there's some horrendous ones. But
But they've been good in other countries.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That must have been a shock to the system for Ravanelli, going back to him, going to
go to
Borough.
Borough.
Well,
Like,
But
like,
I think
complete, like, the
like
lifestyle.
fucking Dundee.
do you know what's mad? You know what's mad though? Like, if you look back, Ravanelli, the previous season, he scored it in the Champions League final, and then he got sold to Borough.
It was like they just discovered like,
Imagine
we
you
can
would-
pay like big money.
Turned up at Borough though, going, fuck me. Do you know, like Ted Lasso, like Roy, you'd be like,
Clearly, Borough thought, let's see what happens. We like just throw money at people.
Yeah.
I think they bought Gary Pallister. I know he's not Italian, but just an example. And he was coming at the end of his career. He wasn't quick or anything like that. Like just standard centre back coming at the end. And they were paying him 30 grand a week, which was huge money like back then. So it just shows if they were paying Gary Pallister that, what the fuck were they paying Ravanelli and Boxic?
To be fair, the Borough Stadium and that, and fans, like, they've got to be
Yeah,
really good
they've got
following
Borough
in the
Stadium's nice
stadium,
stadium.
man.
It was, and they had the chairman Steve Gibson back his managers. You could never ever like fault them for that. But I don't know if they've ever really recovered from that period in terms of like financially and things like that. But to go from Juventus to rock up, like, I mean, where would you live? Like, just in the middle of
That's what I think
not
as
in
well.
Turin.
Is there a posh place in Borough?
Jan?
Yeah, Jan
Is Jan posh?
I thought he was hungry there.
There's some nicer bits out in Jan.
You've
like,
gone from
further out from the like little town sort of thing.
you've gone from pasta to Palmos.
Don't knock a palm from there. God, got me through some tough night shifts at Palm.
You know, speaking of like weird transfers, like Lombardo to Palace, like he's the first Italian, like I remember in the Premier League,
The baldy one.
the baldy one, but I don't think you realise how good he was, like until you like look back on like on YouTube and stuff like that. Because I like 30 years of Prem, I can't remember him loads, but I just remember him, like from Palace, and his head just looked like a thumb. Like it looked like a thumb, but he was quality on the ball, wasn't he? He was like a bit like, I don't want to do a Danism, but he reminded us of like, remember like Gary McAllister when he was playing at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he had a bit of class about him.
You just picking bald people here.
Nothing to do with football.
Yeah. You reminded us of him, I don't know why.
Gary McAllister is more like Lombardo than Titus Bramble is like Raphael.
Don't get bitter.
Did I see on the page? I don't think so.
So if we go a little bit more kind of more recent, you've got the likes of Materazzi.
That's not more recent.
It's fairly more recent than some of these.
One season.
Ravanelli was
nice
still
and
playing
nice.
when Materazzi was in the World Cup final.
Yeah, but Materazzi played for Everton in about 96.
I didn't even know Materazzi played for Everton until Cam told us before we came on that.
It was on 96. Maybe 98. I don't know.
He's one of them
It
where
was in the 90s though.
right now if you said who did he play for, you're like,
Everton.
I haven't got a fucking clue,
No.
but he got headbutted by Zidane.
Honestly. He was
That
like,
is all he's known for.
headbutted. Yeah.
Like that is it. Like, I couldn't tell you another club apart from Everton because we've like done the research on this.
In
You're like, who the fuck? He's just known
For that moment.
getting a headbutted in the chest.
I remember buying him on FM quite a bit.
He was a good defender.
Mm-hmm.
Better suited for the Serie A.
Aye, he was.
But
He
speaking
was
of
a
more
hard head as well,
recent
wasn't he?
head cases, you've got to go with Balotelli, haven't
Other,
you? Balotelli.
other than like the Canio, like as far as like people that watch and entertainment on that list, I would say he's my favourite.
Oh, mate. Remember that pre-season?
Balotelli.
Remember that pre-season
I know
game?
exactly when
When-
Mancini goes berserk.
When he tries to just like a little flick back, and Mancini just drags him off, and he's looking over. What's wrong? Like, what's the problem?
Like, 3 yards out, just backheeled it wide. But I could have just tapped in. I think we were playing LA Galaxy or something like that.
Oh man, what a guy.
But he's another one, when you think of Di Canio, that unpredictability, he obviously was unpredictable, like setting fireworks off in his house, and apparently he used to dress up as Santa and go and like drive around Manchester handing out money and stuff.
But then he had like games. Do you remember? Was it the
Surely
Euros?
they knew he was a little bit nuts before the bought him.
Was it the Euros where he was absolutely? He does that celebration. He takes his top off. And
He
flexes.
was just
And he
unplayable.
was actually really good.
You used to, remember when he first started doing that? You started doing it, didn't you?
That was just in the house.
I was on feast.
Until on Friday, I just got the Canio goal.
Why always me?
Oh, what a prick for that celebration.
Oh,
But he was just nuts. Like,
Aye.
I don't think he ever really fulfilled his potential. Like,
He was very, like, he got abused a lot in Italy, didn't
I just loved his character. Like you don't get people like that anymore, man. Like who are just really, really good and can back up how arrogant they
he? It
are.
was funny that
did he back it up enough though?
No,
Nah.
no.
No, he didn't. I
He
don't
did have it though, he could have got very far. I just loved, do you know when he like, got asked about why he didn't celebrate goals, he said, what's my job?
Yeah.
Him and Roy Keane should be best fucking mates.
I think he
Did you
definitely
see a
could.
postman celebrate when he posts on something box?
I think he definitely could have done more with regards to stats in the Premier League, but like for what he was worth, like entertainment value, and that, I think he did what he came to do. I think in his head he's probably thinking, well, that was a massive success.
Yeah.
Where did he go more recently? Was it like Empoli or somewhere like that? And then there was rumours of him coming back in the national team because he'd obviously like been doing well and stuff. But it just seems to be one of them like you can't coach him.
Remember the Jose one when he's got a booking and he put at half time, spent the whole half time team talk telling like don't get another booking, don't get another booking, don't get another
We've
booking.
got no strikers on the bench.
Yeah,
There's
got
only
nothing left,
Mario.
got nothing left. A minute into the second half, sent off. Fucking class.
One of the best stories ever. Like
You're probably thinking him though, he probably meant it as well. Oh, well, fuck him, I'm going to get him off here. He can't tell me what to do.
I've already run me back.
So before we move on to English players playing in Italy, you've got any more that we want to highlight?
An honourable mention, but not in England. Can you remember which AC Milan, ex-AC Milan manager and player went to Rangers?
Gattuso.
No, he was big, wasn't he?
Yeah, and his dad told me he would slap him if he didn't go. I just read this.
Yeah.
He said, if you don't go to Rangers, I'm going to slap you. And he went over, he chipped tooth and all. He said, like, he learned loads by going. But that, I mean, it's not England, but
So going on to Britain, he was hard as fucking nails him, wasn't he? I love him as a player. Didn't he start on, was it, who was it, the Portsmouth? He was on the Portsmouth bench.
Joe
Jordan?
Joe Jordan, aye.
Joe Jordan.
Yeah, Joe Jordan's like twice his age. He's fucking like, neither of them are backing down. They're like proper hard men.
Joe Jordan would have killed him.
Aye.
He would have absolutely killed him.
Joe
Jordan's
Jordan's
a bit
looks
bigger
real.
or something though. He would have been nasty fighter.
So fucking good.
The only one for me that we used to talk about all the time is Pella from Southampton. That's the only one I give a mention to, just brief mention. For that one season. And then he was linked to everybody, and then I don't even know where.
He was one of the first ones that went to China for big money.
Oh, is that where he went?
Aye, and then
That
the
season he
rest
had
followed, the likes of Ramirez and all those players kind of. But he was, I'm sure he was like one of the first ones. He thought, if you stay, like you're scoring goals for Southampton, you look like decent physically, like you hold the ball up.
Be honest, man, he looked lush.
His name was Hurricane. He's a beautiful man. He was a beautiful man. Like
Calm down.
head a ball in from fucking 8 yards and his hair wouldn't move. He still looked pristine.
Yes.
But then you're like, why go to China?
Same reason everyone's going to Saudi.
It was apparently because he used to finish playing with Southampton and he was on the first plane to Dubai when he was done. Apparently that's what he did all the time. I was speaking to someone about this like years ago on holiday. He went, oh, he used to be away, straight away.
What a
That's
man.
why. That's
I like
it, yeah, but it's still legend.
And the only other one I've mentioned is, it's only because I've seen his only Premier League goal, Giuseppe Rossi.
You loved him,
I
though, didn't you?
loved Giuseppe Rossi. And honestly, his career would have been unbelievable had he stayed injury free.
I was about to say flop.
He didn't flop.
Didn't man.
Bang goals in Italy, bang goals in Spain. Was in the national team heading for the World Cup, got injured. I think he came back, bang goals in, and then he's going to be in the squad for Euros.
Yeah.
Got injured.
Maybe Spock's not
Just unfortunate.
unlucky.
He was just like a
He
natural
was a talent,
finisher, wasn't
wasn't
he? You could tell he was good, right? And when he came off the bench, you could tell there was something about him. He just probably needed that run of games, or to go out on loan to maybe like a championship club or like a lower Premier League team, just to get some game time and be the main man kind of thing.
Well, he did. He came to us, but he just didn't get a goal. But you were explaining to me.
Yeah, because I was listening to another podcast, and he was saying that he was just really frustrated because he was fit and they just wouldn't play him. And we were trying to remember who was playing at the time, and he was saying like they shouldn't be ahead of him.
Yeah,
at all.
He was one of those players. Your team has to play a certain way to fit him in, like just stature-wise and stuff like that. Because you lose out physically, and he's not going to defend. He's not going to close anybody down or anything like that. He's not a hold-up player, so you've got to fit your team around players like him, like Di Canio and Zola and all those people that will sit in the little pockets and just pick up little bits of space and link the play. But if you're struggling and that's not your game and it's more direct, he's neither use nor ornament. So
that's what you were saying as well. Yeah, they were sticking him like left or right wing.
Yeah,
it's like
just to shoehorn them in. It's daft. It was a bit like when Paul Scholes played for England, just to get him on the pitch, play him left midfield, like just a waste. So, we'll move on then.
Wait there, can I just say, like, there's one person we've got left, and you kind of modelled your game after Glenn, because Glenn's a goalkeeper, and there's one person I think you remind me so much of.
There is not a fucking chance I'm as bad as Massimo Tagliani. Not a chance.
Was he good at 5-a-side but shite at 11?
I don't even think he was good at fucking 5-a-side.
Well,
He was awful, him, wasn't he?
I've not done that one, have you? The bend down, pick it up.
No, I haven't had one where it's
Oh,
like,
is it his?
I've moved down and like bobbled over my head. I've had one where it's bobbled over my foot when it's been played back and I've tried to clear it. And it's
Pass was by me. Laughed me head off.
Well, yeah, I'm just too good to play on shit pitches. I was done by the pitch, wasn't me.
Moving on.
Moving swiftly on, right. Just the stitches up, dick. English players playing in Italy then. So I think the most famous one is my hero, Bex.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Lee Shaw.
I didn't even realise I forgot he played in Italy. But yeah, Beckham played in that Milan team, had some players in it, didn't it?
Frightening.
Absolutely disgusting.
It was when they used to get a free kick.
Fade off.
They used to just sort of line up.
I think I had Pirlo, Kaka,
Seedorf.
Beckham, Seedorf was there, obviously Maldini was always there. Was Dida still the keeper?
Jesus,
He was, wasn't he?
Cafu.
Was it Inzaghi up front? It was around that time.
Yeah.
That was a frightening Milan team, that though.
How long was Beckham there for?
They're only about 6 months or so on
Mm.
loan
What
for
All
them.
it was.
Yeah.
It's like a centre defensive midfielder, he's just quarterback role in it.
Aye.
It was insane.
We went to see them, so Milan played United in the Champions League, and I was like, to camp, should we go? Should we go? We ended up paying way over the odds for these tickets, and while I was looking for them, I ended up booking tickets for the Carling Cup final, which was like slightly earlier. We went to this game, we absolutely battered them 4-0, and we were like, torture this Milan team. But actually, Ronaldinho was in that team.
Yeah.
I remember watching the warm up, and he's punting this ball up in the air and just controlling it dead, like no effort whatsoever. Like mid conversation with somebody else, like it was just disgusting, like how good he was. But yeah, like
One of the biggest cheers of that night though was when Beckham nearly scored.
that was the only time anybody's wanted an away team player to score. And he caught one on the volley, didn't it? But it was just straight down Van der Sar's throat.
He was class backs, like.
He was.
Very good.
Very underrated, I think.
Underrated, didn't he?
As a player, I think he was.
I think everybody's kind of gone on the superstar status of outside the game now, and they kind of forget how good of a player he was.
I don't think
Everyone just thinks about the
crossing
free kicks.
He was so good, as in like, he would be class even in, like when we talk about old players not being good in today's
He
game.
can still do it.
Like his work rate and that.
Yeah, his work rate
it was just
unbelievable.
frightening as a winger.
Knew his strengths, mastered them. And it was just, I'll put a ball in the box. And
Nobody
can you
knew.
imagine if he was now in his prime and he had a Haaland up front?
I know.
Like,
But people did talk about Bex like you saying, look, and he's like, how many goals did he actually score for his free
Like the
kicks
stats.
and all that? But he was a lot more than that, like.
It's like Michael Jordan, how many did he miss? But you don't remember the ones he misses. The times he was always going to put the ball in his hand and score. He was up like England will always be the moment where he had about 5 free kicks, 6 free kicks or whatever that day. And Teddy Sheringham actually comes up and went, look, I'm going to hit this one. And no. And he hits it and it goes in.
Yeah.
I remember kicking off and I was like, why is he taking it again?
But he dragged us in that game. Like he was the best player on the park that day by a mile. But yeah,
I think
underappreciated, probably not underrated. I think he was underappreciated for what he was.
I think maybe like the younger generation, they don't really appreciate Beckham.
I think you would have to watch a full 90-minute game to see what he would do because him scores the very
His links play with Gary Neville, like for a partnership, was unbelievable.
like, so you talk about dictating play, like he used to literally dictate like games on his own.
but he could move inside
From
from
the
the
right
centre
to
midfield as well. It was like European Football of the Year. Didn't he finish second to Rivaldo, who I know is not European, but obviously like European-based players? Finished second in '99 to Rivaldo. You think the players that were in Europe at that time, for him to go and finish second says a lot.
And that's going back after the whole World Cup thing, wasn't it?
That's the only thing that made us upset about Ronaldo. Beckham won, he jumped that tackle, got England because he was just come back with a broken
The
foot.
2002.
Yeah, and he jumped the tackle and he was protecting, so I don't understand it, but I was like, God, I wish he'd just touch that ball there and just take right the tackle.
There was a couple that he did where he jumped out of tackles. Like,
Did you watch it on YouTube?
I just remember going into school, because we all went to the same school, after Mr. Moore being absolutely pissed. And then the school nurse having to come in and give him like paracetamol because he was hungover the hell. He's not a teacher now, I don't think, so I can say
Hopefully not.
Not anymore. But,
And Mr. Moore's not Raoul.
Who else we got in?
Should we go to the top? Main man who started it all, maybe?
Yeah, I
think he's one of the most
I think
famous.
well, if we name all three of the top ones, I think they go pretty much hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, so we've got Gaza, David Platt, Paul Ince. Probably, maybe with the exception of Ince, I think Gaza was kind of just as we were starting to get into football, and was obviously the one that kind of turned a lot of people onto Italian football. Platt was probably a little bit
before us.
A little bit early for us.
But we're running more from Arsenal though.
But Paul Ince was when he got shipped out from United.
He was one of my favourites.
Milan. Apparently turned into like some big time Charlie, so got shipped out into Milan. To be fair, we didn't look back with Roy Keane there, so
His story was quite funny though, wasn't it? Inste's before he got there. And he didn't want to go, did he?
No.
Which is crazy.
But I mean, he was an unbelievable player. I don't know, I think he's one of them underrated.
Ince.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was genius.
Like massive for England.
But I think he got moved on at the right time. I think Fergie was a genius for that. He moved everyone on at the right time. Apart from Stan, I think he said he had another year.
Yeah, Stan was the one that he regretted.
I think with the Ince thing, like, I think what lets him, towards United fans, he doesn't get the credit because he went to Liverpool and then became captain of Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just fucking hard to like. Even now, like some of the comments he comes out with about like managers getting jobs because of their ethnicity and all that sort of stuff, and he's just
great player, but hard to like.
He's hard to like, yeah. And he's probably got some valid points.
I like it,
but it's how he kind of goes about it. I'm not a massive fan.
Did you ever see when they found it on the internet when he's doing his tactics forward and like they had like the tactics note sheet and he's at Blackburn and they zoomed in on it and it was in the paper and at the goals what he's wrote. Does anyone have a hazard guess what he actually wrote? His tactics.
Score.
Shoot. Shoot. And then there was nothing else on the page and he was just like shoot. That was brilliant.
I mean, speaking of like Gaza, like he was the Italian football thing, but he was one of my favourite players growing up. I bought Borough tops just to put his name on the back. England tops. I went and watched him in Edinburgh playing for Borough pre-season friendly against Hibs.
I think when we were growing up, it was obviously you did want to watch him play, but what I remember is he's like off the field stuff. That's why I liked him because it was like
the daft stuff.
Yeah.
Like
obviously he was a good player, but that's one
stealing the team bus. And wasn't there a story about when a ball got kicked over the fence at training and he was like, I'll go and get it. So he hops the fence to go and get the ball and then just goes missing. 24 hours later comes back over the fence with the ball and joins in training. It's like absolutely class. Other people, Ashley Cole probably didn't have the best time in Italy, to be fair, did he?
Best team photo
I couldn't get a team photo right, so that didn't bode well from there.
The only thing he's probably known for over there.
Nah, I don't think he had the best of times, to be fair. I think he had like one or two good games, and then I'm sure the second season he was there didn't play at all.
He's up there with John Terry for me, like.
Do you think he's just because you're a United fan, do you know?
He's an arsehole.
Nobody
likes that.
That's what he's like. Ince, like he's hard to like, but he's an unbelievable fullback.
Best left back England.
He was really good.
No.
He was brilliant left back, like
He's
a
not
modern
the best
style
left back England's ever had.
Who's better?
Me.
No.
Moving on. Oh, the only person to win the Scudetto, Ashley Young.
Mm-hmm.
It was a surprising one, that, to be fair, when the links came out and stuff, he went over, but was it 2 seasons he did though?
Yeah. He was there with Lukaku.
Cheers.
Ashley Young, man.
So it is, he started, was it Watford? Watford and then went to Villa.
Yeah.
And then obviously we got him from Villa. No, he was decent.
How many you signed him from Villa to play as a 10?
No,
He
he
played
played
on
on
left.
wing.
Like
Wing.
10.
Yeah.
Like an attacking, was it what he was for Villa, wasn't he?
No, he was a winger. He was all about like cutting back and cutting in his right.
How long did he actually play left wing for years? Because he's moved him straight
Couple
away.
of seasons.
No, a few seasons.
But he was one of them. He adapted well to then
Yeah.
change his position to make sure he kind of lasted longer, and obviously still doing a job now.
Played
so
class against us last year.
I had a good game for the last season, and then he's gone to Everton now.
yeah,
38 strong.
aye, fair play to him. Keepers Union as well. Joe Hart, felt heartily sorry for him, to be fair. Like Guardiola did him over. Like he's just won the Premier League,
He did.
and then all of a sudden he's like,
He did, like,
you can't see. He wasn't a bad keeper. He's England's goalkeeper, and then all of a sudden, nah,
He's
you're not
shit,
for me.
yeah.
like, you don't
Shit.
become bad overnight like
Nah,
that. Like,
And then I think, for me, I don't know how true it is, but I think it just shattered his confidence, because I think he went to Torino and there was a couple of howlers and stuff, but now I'm buzzing for him because he's got to Celtic and seems to be doing really, really well. Seems like he has a smile on his face, and I know I've got a soft spot for goalkeepers even if they played for Man City. But he was one I felt sorry for him when he got shit.
I did feel so.
you listen to loads of other like pro goalkeepers that have played with him in other podcasts, like Nick Pope, what's he called? Wrexham and Ben Foster. How highly they talk about like how good he is in training.
Mhm.
He was top of the game like when he was there.
He got a sense that he was a bit of a leader as well. Like he was one of the main people in the dressing room. Like
Michael Richards always talks well of him, doesn't he?
yeah.
I think they moved on from at the right time, and for what they got now. And
Yeah, but for what they want to do, but it's the way he did it.
maybe so, but
You
everyone
didn't have
did.
to say, "Oh shit, get out."
Yeah.
But everyone did after that, though, didn't they? Even was it the top? Top was it?
Nuno Espirito Santo like basically said like,
You're not even going to be in your third. You
Yeah.
might as well go. It's
aye.
like right.
But I don't get how managers can go from like a Premier League winning goalkeeper who played every game, pulled off some amazing saves. Did they play Barcelona in the Champions League? And he was unbelievable. I'm sure it was in the Nou Camp.
Yeah.
And he was unreal. Like it's just one of those games where you see the keeper and you think it's going to take someone really good to fucking beat him. To then go, nah, you're not for me. And then I think City brought in Claudio Bravo, who was worse.
Yeah.
He was never a goalkeeper.
Just because he got to play
ball.
with his feet, right?
Like he was good at Barcelona because nobody got the ball at Barcelona, so he didn't have much to do. That's why they could play midfield as a centre half.
I don't remember much about Hart's career in Italy, to be fair.
But
I just remember the howlers.
I'm happy for him to see him kind of doing well at Celtic.
Yeah.
It's good. But speaking of doing well, we've got a couple that are kind of 2 or 3 there tearing it up at the minute. Tammy Abraham, Tomori and Smalling.
Do you know what? Right.
Chris Smalling, man.
Chris
Unbelievable.
Smalling. You seen that story about Hoyland?
Said Chris Smalling
the
was
one
the
player he
toughest
struggles
scorer.
against.
Yeah.
If he struggles against Chris Smalling, I'm a bit afraid.
Aye. That's not what we're running here, pal. We've seen Chris Smalling, but it seems like the pace of the game, the physicality suits him so well.
To be fair, if you talk about like one-on-one and playing up against someone, that was something Smalling was very good at, but he just couldn't do the right. He couldn't read the game. He couldn't pass a ball. But one-on-one and like playing against someone like Hoyland, like wrestling with someone.
But
Hell
he's
of a
obviously
career.
doing well. Like when you see Roma in Europe, like he looks solid. Like he looks like the type of player that we probably expected him to be. But I think he was playing non-league. Didn't he go to Fulham or somewhere?
Yeah.
And then United got him. He
Was it Maidstone or
was
something?
made someone. It was
I
like
don't remember.
someone.
And then we
gone for
purchased
Fulham.
Fulham up with 12 million on it, and everyone's like, you paid over the odds. And
To be fair, I always liked him. I thought he was always alright.
You honestly thought him and Phil Jones were going to be the future of United,
And England.
Phil Jones got loads of injuries,
Yeah.
and Chris Smalling just had a few seasons of being a bit.
Bit
Well,
iffy.
him and Johnny Evans did the same thing. They both had a bit like howlers and stuff like that, and they lost confidence. And then he's gone off to Roma, and he's had a really good career there.
I think he'll finish out there probably.
Yeah.
He's
Aye.
loved,
He's
loved,
probably-
isn't he?
He's probably he's done one of the best. I think one of the best that's done over in Serie A. Consistently anyway.
fellow centre half, so Tomori.
I thought he would have moved back to England.
Yeah, that's what he
Should he be in the England squad?
He should have
Yes.
gone. He definitely should have
Harry
gone.
Maguire.
Yeah.
I think there's a few people who are going ahead of Harry.
Yeah, I don't think at England now we're inundated with brilliant centre halves. I think you can rule Connor Cody out safely now, I think, from any England squads.
Yeah.
So I think, he's got to be in
I
there.
give the likes of Duncan stuff a chance. Why not
Possibly,
more?
yeah.
I haven't seen enough of Tomori, I'm honest. Like, watched bits and pieces, and he's played a few games for England, and I don't think he's really stood out. But
I think that's why we need to move back. I think.
Well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it?
It
But
is.
he doesn't get his game every week either, though, does he? Sure, he doesn't play every week either, and I mean, that's something to look into.
We'll have to look into. But the fact that he went over, he's done all right.
Succeeded.
Yeah.
Another one, Tommy.
Yeah, back in goals. But again, he's another one I thought someone might have a little look back at. And
He's injured now, isn't he?
That's
Like a long-term one as well.
He was, I'm sure I read somewhere he was linked with United as well, but he's another one. He's a bit like that Ivan Toney type thing, but I think with Abraham he needs to show it. Ivan Toney's done it at the Premier League. I think he would have got a big move.
He did do well on the
slightly
Lampard.
topic, but
Do you know when they had the transfer ban?
and it's just the change in managers. It's a bit like Joe Hart. Someone don't fancy you, and he did the right thing in leaving, and it seems like Jose kind of seems to rate him.
I definitely rate Abraham. Like, I think if he didn't get injured, I think there would have been an offer in this summer for him.
I would have took him on us. Newcastle would have like as a third option.
100%.
It would have been great because Callum Wilson's not going to go forever. He's 30 in the final year of his deal. Is he going to get a new one? I hope he does, but Abraham would have been someone behind it.
That's the other one that's going to take over from him, supposedly, from West Ham. Everyone's in for Scamacca.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be
He's
from Roma fan.
from Romany.
But Mikel Antonio will be happy about that. For when he slagged them off.
Obviously Scamacca, I guess, added to that list as well, but he's just been a massive flop in the Premier
I
League.
think the only two from that list, from the English players, the two that you don't really remember, is probably Lee Sharp, and Michael Richards went to Fiorentina, but did he do anything?
Easily forgotten, isn't
I
it?
bet he looked lush in a purple kit though.
I don't think he played all that much.
Nah.
I think it would be less than 10 appearances, maybe guess would be.
Didn't he retire at like 30 or 31 or something like that? It was like really young, but
I'm sure he's a decent player, but
He was to City.
it was forgettable, wasn't it?
his whole career was, to be fair.
Burst on the scene.
First on the scene, but he's found his calling now, and he's mint at what he does now. Really good at what he does now.
But any more for any more?
Nah, that's it. I think.
Which is quite well when you look at the list of English players, isn't it? Like, there's none that's really gone and
We don't
been
have
a massive success.
There's not very many English players have gone abroad. It's starting to happen a little bit more now. But before, like if you look at English players went abroad, you look like McManaman and people like that. Like he did really well. Like obviously won Champions League and things like that.
To be fair, to Madrid is a bigger one, isn't it?
If you, versus foreign players coming in and there's English players going out, there's not many. Like, and obviously we've got the best league ultimately. Like, so why would you want to go? But
it's even these fringe players though that they would rather sit
on the bench
rather than take that gamble and risk of kind of going and playing every week and trying something different.
Yeah, I think Bellingham's a prime example of what happens when you play.
Yeah.
So United were in from, would he have played every week? Probably not. But he's gone to Dortmund, played every week, turned into an absolute baller, and then had the opportunity to come back to pretty much any Premier League team. And he's gone, I'm going to go and play for Real Madrid.
I'd be interested to see what the mid-table sides in Italy pay compared to like Leeds and Southampton.
Yeah, that's the difference. Isn't it?
I'd rather sit and play at Southampton in the Championship for 20 grand a week than going for Torino or Bologna or wherever.
To be fair,
that
TV rights money definitely.
I understand that part.
Because I'd rather go and play.
I'd rather play Serie A than Championship.
the one player that's done it this window is Loftus-Cheek. If he can stay fit, I think he'll do really well for Milan.
Hopefully.
And if he's there for 2-3 years and he's still got years left, he might go back.
27 though now, isn't
It's one of them. He's got everything about him, just never had to run games really. So we'll see. Right. Well, we'll finish up with the Serie A Player of the Week. So
we're forgetting one big thing.
What we forget?
The retirement.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Wait, can you say his first name, Chris?
And John, in it.
John Buffon.
This is the hardest thing about this podcast is pronouncing people's names. I struggled with yours for over 10 years.
Yes, I think he must have played since
Sure,
about
the
I couldn't spell it, could I?
I think he's played since about 1970. He seems to have always been around.
Yeah.
Is it when Banjo played for Bologna in 1964?
Go back to episode 1 and yeah, how old Baggio actually is. Gianluigi Buffon.
Gianluigi.
Gianluigi.
That's his name now. Gianluigi
John.
Buffon.
Yeah, it's not even one name, it's two separate ones.
There's John.
His initials are JL Buffon.
Gianluigi Buffon. Obviously, I loved him
What a goal.
from each. I would say he's probably in the top 5 of all-time goalkeepers.
Looks Italian.
He was just mint, looked mint, pulled, like, everything he did was good.
Didn't he never win the Champions League?
Never won it.
No.
Never ever won it. That's why it's
Such a
Sick.
travesty that
Moved
is.
in to go
Yes.
PSG just for a last chance.
I'll
Yeah.
rattle off Coppa Italia at Parma.
This isn't your player of the week, is it?
Super Coppa Italia at Parma. UEFA Cup at Parma. Juventus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Serie A.
Well done, Dean. That's well done counting.
Serie A B, because he stayed when we all went for betting problems and all that shit. Coppa Italia is another 5. Super Coppa Italiana is 6. UEFA Champions League runner-up 3 times.
Yeah. They got beat off AC Milan at Old Trafford, didn't they?
And then went to
Well, final.
PSG, won the league, and then the trophy de champs, he got that as well. But he's obviously World Cup winner as well.
I suppose that.
That'll make up for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Would you rather the World Cup or the Champions League?
World Cup.
Every time.
Exactly.
100%. You know, you get the opportunity once every 4 years, like that's the absolute pinnacle.
And he was the runner-up in the Ballon d'Or. Can his name? There's only one keeper that won the Ballon d'Or.
Was it a runner-up to a keeper?
No.
No.
Alright, okay.
So there was only one. I don't think it was good. It's a pretty tricky one. But it was Lev
Yashin.
Yashin, and he's.
I was asking who he's runner-up to.
No, so Lev Yashin was the only one. But I mean, I'll post homework for everyone. Just name your top 5 keepers of next week of all time.
He's definitely in there, like, but
I was going to say, that's not one I can just rattle off.
I gave one a day to Cam when I was speaking to him before. It's a bit more controversial, but because of what I thought he'd done, and when he was younger, towards the latter end, I thought he dipped off massively. But it was Iker Casillas.
Oh, he was unreal at Madrid.
Yeah,
Unbelievable at Madrid. I don't know if he made the top 5, but he was unbelievable as a keeper.
but we'll save that for another one.
Right.
I'll let
Sounds
you
good.
go back to yourself, Glenn.
So right, so we'll finish up the player of the week. So again, like last week, if you think you know, just shout out a guess. So it's from Wikipedia, so if any of the stats aren't quite right, then shit happens. But
You can see it in
I
full.
can't see anything.
there's
It's
no
it's just
screenshots.
week
just because you last
Alright.
week.
with Fabian.
So this player started his senior career in 1991, playing 7 times for Torino and scoring 1 goal. Then moved to Pisa, where he played 92-93 season, played 18 times and scored 2. Then got moved to Ravenna, where he's played 32 times, scoring 12 in the 93-94 season. 94-95, played for Venezia, making 29 appearances, scoring 11 goals. 95-96, moved on to Atalanta.
Inzaghi.
It's not Inzaghi.
Frozen out? Is he frozen out?
No,
Frozen
no.
out. Nah,
Where he played 21 times and scored 9 goals
Where was that, sorry?
at Atalanta. 96-97, he was at Juventus, playing 23 times, scoring 8.
No, this kid doesn't move around.
He then moved abroad. 97-98, playing for Atletico Madrid, where he made 24 appearances and scored 24 goals.
He should be good, this kid.
It's going to kick, it's going to kill this one.
98-99, he played for Lazio, playing 22 times, scoring 12.
Mendieta?
It's not Mendieta.
Of course not.
He had a canny stint at Inter Milan, 1999 to 2005, playing 143 times, scoring 103 goals.
Vieri.
It is Christian Vieri.
Christian Vieri. Christian Vieri.
Christian John Vieri.
I was going to say it, but I didn't realise it was that early.
Yeah, he was playing for quite a while, by all accounts.
It's a third of a point each.
So he moved across Milan in 2005, played 8, scoring 1 Then he moved to Monaco and Sampdoria in 2006. Played 7 times for Monaco, scored 3. Didn't play for Sampdoria. 2006-2007 went back to Atalanta, playing 7 and scored 2. Then moved on to Fiorentina for the 07-08 season, 26 goals, 26 appearances, and 6 goals. Then went back to Atalanta, 2008-2009, played 9, scored 2. So his career finished on 374 appearances and 194 goals.
Oh,
I'm so glad I got that.
His
One for the Lydia.
His family must have hated him. Imagine the house moves
Oh.
and clubs and
He had
mental.
pictures. Out of the shop here.
There's some signing on fees going on there.
Oh.
You don't realise how prolific he was, but even for Italy, he played for Italy between 97 and 2005, 49 caps and 23 goals.
He was an absolute boss one.
He was good.
Solid.
Big boy.
I did not have a clue he had that many clubs though.
Nah,
I really had quite a few clubs, but like it was the starter through us. It was like random team. Oh, one season.
Was he Atlanta? The Juventus? I was trying to.
It was the Juventus one. I couldn't think who it was.
Good
This
one.
one, it was prevalent back in the day though, like
in the Milan bit.
the Italian players would move around the big Italian clubs. It was like they weren't arsed about selling each other, but what a player.
It's a slight rewind. I heard a mad one from Buffon. His first game, he was in a 0-0 draw, and it was he had an amazing last-minute save against George Weah, and he's just retired now. And Timothy Weah isn't grown up and playing for How insane is that? Insane.
And on that note, that wraps up episode 3. So thank you for giving us a listen. If you listened to the first 2 episodes, we really appreciate it. By all means, give us a shout on social media or on Twitter or X, as it is now apparently. We're on Instagram, and obviously when you listen, we're on Spotify and we're on Apple Podcasts as well. So give us a little follow, let us know where you're from, and yeah, we will see you next week.
And on YouTube.
Ooh.
Watch this space.
Arrivederci.
What do you think you do? Why you look so sad? It's not so bad.